Lynn asked me to talk about the state of the judiciary. I don't think he said the criminal justice system because that would limit it too much. I don't know. This is going to be a civics class or an Oklahoma history class. Maybe it's going to be a combination of both. I brought the ABC's, Oklahoma Agencies, Boards, and Commissions, just so I'd have something to back me up in case my memory failed me. I had the grandest time this weekend. We had the 21st induction to the Sports Hall of Fame at Northwestern. I have been the MC 20 times. I missed 2 years ago because I was in the hospital in Oklahoma City getting stent number 5 and stent number 6 put in my heart. And I told the doctor on Thursday, I said, I need to be out of here no later than Friday afternoon. I need to do an MC job in Alva. He's a marathon runner. He's about as big as a soda straw and has never had any kind of health problems himself. He said, Dean, let me tell you, you had open heart surgery, you had 4 previous stents, you have 2 new ones. This is not a tough man contest. You keep your butt in this bed until Monday. You're not going home. So I missed that one, and it was painful because there were 2 or 3 people that I really wanted to see inducted. Jason Bryant's one of my all-time favorite players at Northwestern, and he was being inducted, and I felt a special bond with him. My land, what a great receiver he was. He held every record that there was, and as I said on Saturday night, there's one record he has. Nobody will ever break it because it can't be broken. It's kind of like the run that Tony Dorsett had for the Cowboys. Tony Dorsett went 99 yards with a handoff. You can't break that. Bryant has a 99-yard pass reception for a touchdown. 99 yards. So anyway, it was great to be there. We had a grand time. But I want to talk about judges. How many courts are there in Oklahoma? Do you know how many trial courts are there? Actually, there's only one trial court. It's the district court. We have unlimited jurisdiction as district judges. From time to time, there is a joke that circulates at the Oklahoma Judicial Conference. If there is a conflict between a federal court and the state district court, the state district court wins because we have unlimited jurisdiction. The feds have certain limitations of things they can't do. It has to be a certain dollar amount or they can't hear it. We can hear everything from traffic citations to first-degree murder. Unlimited. There are 241 judges of the district court in the state of Oklahoma. There are 3 levels of district judges, but we're all judges of the district court. There are district judges, of which I am one. There are associate district judges. Mickey Hadwiger is our associate. And there are special district judges. District judges and associate district judges are elected on a 4-year cycle. Special judges are appointed by the district judges in their district and serve at the pleasure. In Northwest Oklahoma, I happen to be the presiding judge of the Northwest Administrative District. One of the reasons I couldn't get here any sooner. There are 18 counties. We go from Medford to Boise City. We go from Kingfisher to Sayer. Those are my counties. There are 26 judges of the district court, 26 judges in the 18 counties. There are 5 district judges. 2 of them are in Enid. I am here. As we go west, Judge Ziegler is the district judge for the Panhandle. He lives in Guyman. And we go to the southwest, Doug Hott, who lives in Beckham County. His principal place of business, where most of his business takes place, is in Arapahoe and Custer County. 5 district judges for the 18 counties. I drive no less than 1,500 miles a month, and several times during the year I'll drive over 2,000 miles a month. I drive more miles than any district judge in Oklahoma. But I also have the greatest area in the state of Oklahoma because of the cooperation that we have between the judges, the cooperation that we have between the court clerks. And I kind of hold my breath at that. The last 3 state presidents of the Court Clerks Association were court clerks in my area. The court clerk from Kingfisher retired. The court clerk from Taloga retired. The court clerk from Woodford retired. All this year. And they were thought highly enough of by their sister. There's only one male court clerk that I know of in the state of Oklahoma, that they were elected back to back to back state president of their association. So there's some heavy lifting going on right now in several counties in the state. In addition to all of that, the court clerk who had served for almost 30 years in Guyman retired at the same time. So we just stripped away. You know, it's kind of like losing your starting backfield. What are we going to do next year? Well, there's some trained people that have stepped into those positions. The first deputy in each of the counties succeeded to the position. Judges are elected, nonpartisan. I'm subject to removal from office if in any campaign literature or campaign appearance I tell you what my political registration is. It's not permitted in the state of Oklahoma. It is nonpartisan. Can't be mentioned. Judges cannot participate in partisan politics. What about the appellate judges? We're one of only 2 states that have 2 courts of last resort. We have the Supreme Court, made up of 9 members. We have the Court of Criminal Appeals, constituted of 5 members. The Supreme Court has superintending power even over the Court of Criminal Appeals and every other court in our system in the state. They have the ultimate decision to make. There are 9 Supreme Court justices, 5 Court of Criminal Appeals judges, and they're elected for 4-year terms. They get on the court to begin with by the governor's appointment, and the governor must select from a list of 3 names submitted to him or her, since we have, and I'm going to call her Mary because we have become so close down through the years. We've had the lieutenant governor's turkey hunt for 21 years here in Alva, and Mary Fallon was the longest serving lieutenant governor that we had before she ascended to the office of governor. But she now must appoint from that list of 3 the names that are submitted to her by the Judicial Nominating Commission. Let me get a drink of water real quick. If she fails to act within the allotted period of time, then the Supreme Court themselves select the next person that will go on the Supreme Court or on the Court of Criminal Appeals. In our instance, we are in the 4th Judicial District. It's comprised of 9 counties: Woods, Woodward, Alfalfa, Major, and Dewey. That's Division 1. Division 2 is Garfield, Grant, Blaine, and Kingfisher. Until 2 years ago or 3 years ago, a judge who wanted to be a district court judge had to run at large in the 9 counties. Judge Dennis Laddick is the last judge to have to make that 9-county race. Again, I can't be active in politics, but I can make an observation, I think, and that is there was a state senator who is still an attorney at law, and he was ready to leave the state senate, and the law was changed. We no longer run at large in a 9-county district. We run in our 5 counties and their 4 counties. So if this former state senator wanted to become a district judge, it would be a little bit easier, I think, for him to run in our 5-county area than it would be the full 9. And so the law was changed in the last minutes of the session of the legislature 2.5 or 3 years ago, whatever it was. He has not yet tried to avail himself of that. So maybe I'm wrongly accusing him, but he was the author of the bill. He did run it. He did get it passed, and it is the law. For years, there were 2 district judges that ran everything in this area. There weren't two district judges in Garfield County. We had the greatest state district court judge of all time in this county. His name was F.B.H. Spellman. Fred Spellman was a giant of a judge. Never went to law school. He read for the law. His father was an executive on the AT&SF Railroad, and Judge Spellman was a telegrapher. And while he was working and there was nothing to do, he read for the law and then sat for and passed the bar exam and was admitted to practice. And he went into practice with what I think is the longest standing legal practice in the state of Oklahoma. It was founded like 1897 in Alva, Oklahoma, by a guy named Chris Montel. Chris Montel was the father of Mrs. Kent Johnson. Chris Montel took Judge Spellman upon his passing the bar into his law firm. They added a pup lawyer a little bit later on who became a Supreme Court justice in the state of Oklahoma. His name was John B. Doolin. My land, was he a force in the courtroom. So John Doolin joined that firm. Then later on, right straight out of law school, in 1961, a young man that had been raised in Cherokee joined that law firm. His name was Donald L. Benson, one of the great trial lawyers Oklahoma has ever had. State senator from Alfalfa County, who was a Republican, entered into that law firm with the Democrats that were there, and Tom Morford became a member of the firm. And then, just to make sure the firm was completely balanced out, there was a man who had been an FBI agent for 25 years, retired, and the firm ultimately became Morford, Benson, and Gruber. Bill Gruber joined that law firm. So that firm is still in existence today. But Fred Spellman, he was the king of accretion law. Accretion is when a river moves and adds land or cuts off land. Everybody in the state of Oklahoma, if they had an accretion problem, they came to F.B.H. Spellman. His nickname among other judges was Alphabet Spellman because he had 3 initials in his name. Fred Spellman was elected president of the state judicial conference. All of the trial judges in the state selected him as their president. His successor in office, and he served from 1950 to 1970 as district judge, was Joseph A. Young, Jr., who came from Chandler, Oklahoma, came out here and was elected district attorney, and then ran for and was elected district judge from Woodland. Joe Young was a classmate of mine in law school. Wonderful, wonderful attorney, great judge. Left the bench ultimately and became head of litigation for Kerr McGee in Oklahoma City. Another former lawyer in Alva had a lot to do with that. The firm of Tom, Dick, and Larry. Oh, no, that's not right.
It is, right?
When Tom McDaniel went to Oklahoma City, he left the practice here with Dick Danner and then Larry Bay. So that's the Tom, Dick, and Larry story. And Tom became court administrator, the administrator over all of the court system, and he served in that capacity for a couple of years, and then went with Kerr McGee, and he became the first non-geologist to ever become vice chairman of the board of directors when he was selected for that position at Kerr McGee. He added Joe Young to their staff as head of litigation. He added Bill Green from Enid to their staff. He added John Reichenberger from Alva, Oklahoma to their staff. He added Myron Cunningham from Alva, Oklahoma to their staff. And the question that was often asked at the Kerr McGee board meetings is, Tom, who in the hell else from Northwest Oklahoma are you going to bring down here? We now call ourselves the Northwest Mafia around here. But he was successful in that and successful in other things. So we have 241 judges. How did we get the associate district judges in every county? Well, we had county judges that were required to be elected. I'm the last of the county judges to ever serve in Woods County. I served as county judge from 67 to 69, and then court reform took place, and we had a brand new system set up with the associate district judges, one in every county, because there was enough strength in the rural legislature to demand that that happen. Big city folks didn't like it, but they agreed to it finally. And there was an associate district judge selected for each county so that people wouldn't have to go from Alva to Enid if they wanted something recognized by a sitting judge. That's how we got one. And they're still fighting over that, whether it's going to continue to exist or not. It has and probably always will. The special district judges were a new creature. They took the place of the Justice of the Peace. Justice of the Peace, of course, is J.P. And if you were a defendant in a Justice of the Peace lawsuit, you knew what J.P. stood for. It stood for judgment for the plaintiff, because the plaintiff is the one who paid the court cost and got the judge to enter the ruling. Just another bad joke that lawyers tell about themselves. But special district judges have limited authority. They can't hear every case without permission from both sides. They have limited jurisdiction. The associate district judge, the district judge can hear everything, as I said, from traffic citations to first-degree murder. There is no dollar limit on any case that can be heard. Judge Greg Ziegler, the district judge in the Panhandle, in the past 4 years has heard class action lawsuits involving oil and gas companies from $300 to $500 million verdicts returned out there. In some of the instances, enough money was returned that they didn't even know really what they could do with all of it. So by agreement, there have been certain donations of $100,000 to $200,000 to school districts, etc., because there wasn't any place, they couldn't find all of the people that were entitled to the recovery of those huge amounts. In talking about Greg Ziegler, one of my dearest friends, he has the 4 counties, starting Cimarron, Texas, Beaver, and Harper County. He was without having 4 judges to help him for 2 years. There was a judge that retired, there was a judge that simply moved away. 4 counties. And you know how far it is from Boise City to Buffalo. There is 1 secretary bailiff for the 5 judges when they're all in place. There is 1 court reporter for all of those judges in those 4 counties, and that exists today. All of the positions are now filled. There's an associate district judge in each of the 4 counties, and Greg is there serving with 1 court reporter. with one secretary bailiff. I brought just a little pink slip that I keep in the front, and I'm not going to keep you all much longer. I apologize for taking so long. How is the judicial system funded? Well, it's about 85 to 90% self-funded. The judges have to create the income that it takes to pay for court reporters, for secretary bailiffs, for judges' salaries, even for a large number of deputy court clerks. In our 5 counties, I regularly see a quarterly report, and I'm startled by some of the figures that I see. In Alfalfa County, for example, for the first quarter of this year, they collected $49,681 during that first 3-month period. And of that fund, they sent $27,000 to the court administrator's office to go into the, quote, statewide kitty to be used by all of the 77 counties. In Dewey County, smallest county seat town in Oklahoma, they collected $31,087 and they sent $26,000 to the state judicial fund. Major county, little county. You know, what do they have? 7,000 people down there? They collected $74,000 and sent $55,000 of it to the state judicial fund to be dispersed. Our own county collected $82,000 and sent $52,000 to the state judicial fund. And then Woodward County, which is by far the busiest county of the 5 counties that I regularly go to, they collected $199,750 during that same period of time and sent $148,000 of it on to Oklahoma City. So contrary to what you may have heard from some county commissioners, for example, there is not a big basket in the court clerk's office full of $100 bills. They get the money in one door and send it out the next, because almost, as you can hear, a huge percentage of it goes directly into the state coffers. The biggest surprise I get every quarter is when I look at this figure. We have money that comes in for misdemeanors, for felonies, and for traffic. Which of the 5 counties regularly produces the most income in traffic citations? Would you hazard a guess? And if so, how much, and how does it compare to others? Well, let me tell you, the lowest of the 5 counties is Dewey County in the quarter. They had a little over $8,000. Alfalfa County had $26,000. That's surprising. And Woods County had $25,000. Major County, Oklahoma, with 7,000 people, they have 412 going through. They collected $37,861 at the same time. We were collecting $25,000 here in Woods County. I don't know the explanation, except there's a little difference in the amount of time certain troopers spend on the road compared to what others perhaps do. Those are just some figures that I wanted to share with you. We have been blessed in the past, and we're blessed at this time with an experienced crew of people that are working in the court clerk's office here in Woods County. Della Dunnigan wasn't certain she was going to serve again, but she is. She has great deputies. It's great to work with them. We have one of the best looking, most efficient courthouses in the northwest part of Oklahoma. And you know when it was completed? 1956. It has been kept up. It's been maintained. There's been some problems with it, but it's in great shape. Some new carpeting was added just as recently as this weekend, so we're in pretty good shape there. Things are good as long as we, the judges, can continue to find ways to get money to send to the state judicial fund. we'll be all right. Lynn, it's been almost a month ago. I saw an article that you had in the newsgram about how legislation and how different lawsuits come about, and the what is the term you use for a lawsuit that has no basis? What is that called?
Frivolous?
A frivolous lawsuit. And you talked about the poster child case. Everybody ought to know all of the facts, and I'm sure you do, but all of the facts about the notorious McDonald's hot coffee case. There was an extraordinarily high verdict rendered. One of the reasons, because there were two hotshot, high-building lawyers representing McDonald's that absolutely insulted and turned the jury panel wrong side out with their production of evidence. And not taking it out on McDonald's, but taking it out on their lawyers, they rendered a verdict that could not be justified. The lady suffered severe injuries to the degree she had 5 separate skin grafts. 5 skin grafts were required because the coffee was served at a temperature that had been forbidden in at least 3 instances, and McDonald's continued to serve coffee too hot. 5 skin grafts this lady had. Her medical bills were over $1 million, and ultimately the appellate courts reduced the judgment from $5 or $6 million, whatever it was, to just over $1.5 million. The lady got almost nothing for the suffering that she had after the expenses were paid. So you need to get the whole story every time you hear. If we have ever had a lawsuit that even approaches that, filed in the northwest quadrant of Oklahoma, I'm unaware of it. And perhaps to your chagrin, I've been on the bench for 42 years. I've never heard of such a thing happening up here, and I don't think it ever will. We have a government that's made up of 3 branches of government, and from time to time we try to pull different directions. But hopefully when we all go the same direction, we can continue to live in the greatest state in the United States. Thank you.